There's a battle happening right now, and it's not outside, it's inside your mind. Every day, you face challenges. Some are obvious: financial struggles, setbacks at work, personal failures. But the real war? It's the silent one. The voice in your head telling you you're not good enough. The self-doubt that keeps you from taking action. The fear of failure that makes you hesitate when you should move forward. And let me tell you this: if you don't control your mind, the world will control it for you. You'll live in reaction mode, chasing other people's approval, running from discomfort, and making decisions based on fear rather than strength. But it doesn't have to be this way. The Stoics understood this over 2,000 years ago. They knew that your mindset is your greatest weapon, stronger than any external force. When you develop mental resilience, nothing can break you. No setback can destroy you. No challenge can stop you. And here's the best part. This is a skill. You can train your mind the same way you train your body. So today we're diving into 8 powerful Stoic strategies that will help you build an unshakable mindset, one that can withstand anything life throws at you. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you won't just understand mental toughness, you'll start living it. Let's begin. 1. The war is in your mind. You wake up. The first thing you do is reach for your phone. Emails, work deadlines, bills, a notification from someone who doubts you, a comment online that stings. Before you even get out of bed, a voice inside your head whispers, "This is too much. I'm already exhausted. Today is going to be a disaster." And just like that, you've lost the battle before the day even begins. Most men think their biggest challenges are external: work pressure, financial stress, failed relationships. But the real war? It's happening inside your mind. It's not your job that's crushing you. It's the frustration that builds up when things don't go your way. It's not rejection that stops you. It's the self-doubt that follows. It's not obstacles that break you. It's the belief that they are stronger than you. The outside world can throw anything at you, but only your mind decides whether you break or rise. If you don't control it, the world will control it for you. You'll be at the mercy of every negative comment, every setback, every disappointment. You'll react instead of act. You'll live in fear instead of strength. But here's the truth: your thoughts are not reality. They are just noise, and it's time to take control. The Stoics knew this over 2,000 years ago. Epictetus was born a slave. He had no wealth, no status, no control over his external circumstances. But he discovered something that changed everything. He realized that while his body could be enslaved, his mind could not. He said, "You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus has the power to control my mind." And that's exactly what most men today fail to understand. They are free men living like prisoners, not because of their circumstances, but because of their thoughts. They allow self-doubt to chain them down. They let fear dictate their choices. They surrender to the voices telling them they are not enough. This is mental warfare. And if you don't train your mind, if you don't take back control, you will lose this war every single day. But the good news? The battlefield is yours. You don't have to be a slave to your emotions. You don't have to be ruled by doubt. The Stoics developed a method, tested by warriors, emperors, and philosophers, to train the mind to become unshakable. And this is how you do it. First, observe without judgment. Most men react to their thoughts as if they are absolute truth. But thoughts are not reality. They are just suggestions, some useful, some destructive. The problem is, most people don't question them. They just accept whatever their mind tells them. The next time a negative thought arises, don't fight it. Don't resist it. Instead, step back and observe it. Say to yourself, "Interesting, that's a thought, not a fact." The moment you separate yourself from your thoughts, you weaken their power over you. Second, reframe the story. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It believes whatever story you tell it, and most men have been feeding it the wrong script for years. When they fail, they tell themselves, "I'm not good enough." When they face rejection, they say, "I'll never succeed." When something goes wrong, they think, "This always happens to me." But what if you changed the script? Instead of "I can't do this," say, "This is a challenge. Let's see how I handle it." Instead of "I'm a failure," say, "I'm learning. Failure is the path to mastery." Instead of "They don't respect me," say, "I define my worth, not them." Your brain doesn't care what story you tell it. it will believe whatever you repeat. So repeat something stronger. Third, focus only on what you control. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who ruled Rome during plagues and wars, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Most people waste their energy worrying about things outside their control, the economy, the opinions of others, the past. But every second spent on what you can't control is energy stolen from what you can control. The next time life tests you, stop. Ask yourself, what part of this is in my control? Then pour every ounce of energy into that and ignore the rest. That's how you win. Because this isn't a one-time fight. The war in your mind happens every single day. Some men wake up defeated before they even start. They let their emotions dictate their actions. They let their thoughts tell them who they are, and they wonder why they feel lost, weak, out of control. But the strong? They wake up ready for battle. They decide what kind of day they will have. They decide how they will think. They don't wait for motivation. They don't let circumstances decide their mood. They take command. You can be a prisoner of your mind, or you can be its master. The choice is yours. The moment you wake up tomorrow, the battle will begin again. What will you do? Will you let your emotions control you, or will you take control? Will you live by reaction, or will you live by action? Will you surrender, or will you fight? Because if you control your mind, nothing can break you. And if you master your thoughts, you master your life. The war is in your mind. Win it. 2. Pain is your teacher. I know a man who gave 7 years of his life to a company, loyal, dedicated, always the first to arrive and the last to leave. Then one day, without warning, they let him go. No appreciation, no severance, just a cold corporate goodbye. The weight of betrayal crushed him. He spent weeks drowning in anger, replaying the moment in his mind, asking the same question over and over, why did this happen to me? But here's what he didn't realize. Pain wasn't his enemy. It was his teacher. Most people run from pain. They see it as something unfair, something to avoid. But avoiding pain doesn't make it disappear. It only makes you weaker. Because every setback, every failure, every rejection holds a lesson. And only those willing to face it head-on will ever learn. I've been there myself. I started my own business. It was my dream, my vision, my future. And then COVID happened. Everything collapsed. Clients disappeared. Money ran dry. I tried to stay strong, but inside I was breaking. I sat in the doctor's office, listening as he told me I was battling depression. Not because I was weak, but because the weight of failure had become unbearable. I had a choice: let pain destroy me, or let it shape me. The Stoics understood this. They believed suffering was not an obstacle. It was the way forward. Epictetus lived as a slave, beaten and abused. Yet he said, "Difficulties show a man to himself." In other words, pain is a mirror. It reveals who you really are. It strips away illusions and forces you to face the truth. And the truth is this: you are only as strong as the struggles you've endured. When life hits, you have two options. You can sit in self-pity, asking why me? Or you can ask, what is this trying to teach me? That shift in perspective changes everything. Because if you treat pain as a punishment, it will break you. But if you treat it as a lesson, it will make you unstoppable. A broken heart teaches you the importance of self-respect. A lost job forces you to find your true potential. Failure humbles you, sharpens you, and prepares you for your next victory. And here's the most powerful truth. Pain is temporary, but the strength it gives you lasts forever. Look at the strongest people you know, the leaders, the warriors, the ones who seem unshakable. What do they all have in common? They have suffered. They have been knocked down, humiliated, broken apart. But instead of running from the fire, they walked through it. Instead of hiding from hardship, they embraced it. And because of that, nothing can break them. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome through war, plague, and betrayal. Every day brought new challenges, yet his response was always the same. What stands in the way becomes the way. He understood that obstacles aren't barriers, they are the path. If you avoid struggle, you avoid growth. But if you lean into the pain, if you let it refine you, you become something greater. So how do you do this? How do you turn pain into power? First, face it directly. Most people try to numb their pain through distractions, alcohol, avoidance. But the Stoics knew that you cannot heal what you refuse to face. If you're going through hardship, don't bury it. Sit with it, feel it, learn from it. Pain only controls you when you fear it. Second, remove the story. Pain itself is just an experience, but the story you attach to it, that's what creates suffering. If you tell yourself, I lost my job, so I'm worthless, then you will feel worthless. But if you tell yourself, I lost my job, so I am now free to build something better, suddenly pain becomes fuel. Third, apply pressure. Just like muscles grow under resistance, your mind grows through struggle. Train yourself to seek out discomfort. Wake up early. Push through fatigue. Do the hard things, not because they are easy, but because they make you stronger. The more you willingly endure, the less the world can hurt you. And finally, remember that nothing lasts forever. Whatever pain you are feeling today will pass. The hardship, the loss, the disappointment, it will fade. But what remains is who you become because of it. You will either come out of this weaker or stronger, and that choice is yours. I want you to think about the hardest thing you've ever gone through, the moment you thought you couldn't recover, the experience that almost broke you. Now look at yourself today. You survived, you endured, you came out on the other side, and if you can survive that, you can survive anything. So the next time life knocks you down, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can this make me stronger? Because pain is not here to punish you, it's here to prepare you. And if you have the courage to learn from it, nothing will ever break you again. 3. Control your reactions. Have you ever let one small moment ruin your entire day? Sarah was driving to work when suddenly a car cut in front of her, nearly causing an accident. Adrenaline surged, her heart pounded, rage took over. She gripped the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. She screamed at the windshield, cursing the driver who had already disappeared down the road. And just like that, her mood was destroyed. For the next few hours, the anger simmered. Her focus was gone. Her conversations were tense. The incident had lasted mere seconds, yet it had hijacked her entire day. The driver? He didn't suffer. He didn't care. He moved on. But Sarah was trapped, not in traffic, not by circumstances, but by her own reaction. This is the prison most people live in. They let external events dictate their internal state. They give away their peace, their power, their energy, to strangers, to bad news, to things that are beyond their control. And that is why they suffer. The truth is simple. You don't control what happens to you. You only control how you react. Epictetus put it plainly, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. Think about that. You can't stop people from being rude. You can't prevent every failure, every setback, every betrayal. But what you can do is decide whether those things will control you or whether you will control yourself. Most people live in reaction mode. Someone insults them and they snap back. Life throws a challenge at them and they crumble. Their emotions run the show and they justify it by saying, I can't help it, that's just how I feel. But that is a lie. Feelings are not facts. Emotions are not commands. The strongest men, the ones who are truly mentally unbreakable, are the ones who master their reactions. They don't let their emotions dictate their behavior. They don't waste energy on things outside their control. They remain steady, composed, and in command. Not because they don't feel, but because they refuse to let feelings make their choices for them. So how do you do this? How do you take control of your reactions instead of letting them control you? The Stoics had a formula, a battle-tested system for maintaining power over your emotions in any situation. First, pause before you react. When something triggers you, whether it's a person, a situation, or even your own thoughts, don't act immediately. Stop, breathe, give yourself a moment, because the first reaction is almost always the wrong one. That instant rush of anger, that burst of fear, it's raw, unfiltered, and often destructive. But when you give yourself space, you take back control. Second, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most things aren't. Most things don't deserve a reaction. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, ruled over wars, plagues, betrayals. And yet he wrote in Meditations, you always have the power of having no opinion. In other words, you don't have to react to everything. Some things are simply not worth it. Third, reframe the situation. Someone insults you? That's a reflection of them, not you. You fail at something? That's not the end. It's a lesson. You experience a setback? That's not an obstacle. It's an opportunity. The way you choose to interpret what happens to you will determine whether it breaks you or builds you. Fourth, control your body and your mind will follow. Anger makes you tense. Fear makes your breathing shallow. Anxiety makes your heart race. But if you take control of your physical state, you can calm your mind. Slow your breath. Loosen your muscles. Speak slower. Move deliberately. When you command your body, your emotions fall in line. And finally, detach from things you cannot control. If it's outside your power, let it go. You cannot change other people's actions. You cannot change the past. You cannot force the future to unfold exactly as you want, but you can control how you respond. And that is where all your power lies. Because here's the reality. If you are ruled by your emotions, you are a slave. Not to other people, not to circumstances, but to yourself. And a man who cannot control himself will never control anything else. The next time something provokes you, stop, breathe, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, let it go. Because real power doesn't come from reacting. Real power comes from restraint. And remember this, the strongest man in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who doesn't need to prove anything. From this moment forward, decide. Decide that you will not give your power away to trivial things. Decide that no one, not a stranger, not a situation, not even your own emotions, will control you. Decide that you will be the master of your mind, not its servant. Because if you control your reactions, you control your life. 4. Mental toughness comes from discipline. My older brother wakes up at 4:30 a.m. every single day. It doesn't matter if it's cold. It doesn't matter if he's tired. It doesn't matter if he's in the mood or not. He gets up, puts on his running shoes, and starts his day with discipline. He's not a Navy SEAL. He's not an athlete. He's just a man who understands something most people don't. Discipline is freedom. Years ago, he wasn't like this. He struggled with motivation, always waiting for the right moment to take action. Some days he was productive, other days he wasn't. He started things, but didn't finish them. His life was dictated by how he felt. Then one day he decided to change. He stopped relying on motivation. He stopped waiting to feel ready. Instead, he created routines. He set rules for himself. He built discipline. And from that moment on, his life transformed. Because here's the truth. Mental toughness doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from discipline. Most people think they need motivation to take action. That's a lie. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. One day you feel unstoppable. The next, you feel empty. And if you build your life around that, you'll be inconsistent, weak, stuck in the same cycle, waiting for something external to push you forward. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors in history, wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have work to do. I am a human being, born to do my duty." In other words, you don't wait until you feel like doing it. You do it because it must be done. Discipline is what separates the strong from the weak. It's the difference between a man who controls his life and a man who drifts through it. And the best part, discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you train. So how do you build it? First, eliminate the decision-making process. Most people fail because they negotiate with themselves. They wake up and ask, should I go to the gym today? Wrong. If you leave room for debate, you will lose. A disciplined man doesn't ask if, he just does. My brother never decides whether to wake up early. He just does. It's automatic, a non-negotiable. Second, do the hard thing first. Your mind will always take the path of least resistance. If you let it, it will pull you toward comfort. That's why disciplined men attack the hardest task first. They do the workout before breakfast. They handle the toughest conversation first thing in the morning. They control the day before it controls them. Third, detach from emotions. Your feelings don't matter. It doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you're stressed. You do what needs to be done anyway. Discipline is about action, not feelings. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Why? Because discipline isn't glamorous. It's repetitive. It's waking up early, showing up every day, doing the work. No applause, no instant gratification, just quiet, consistent progress. Fourth, embrace discomfort. Growth only happens in discomfort. Most people avoid it. Disciplined men chase it. Every workout that burns, every cold shower, every early morning when your body screams for sleep, every sacrifice you make while others choose ease. This is what builds strength. And finally, Never break a promise to yourself. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," and you don't, you weaken your own mind. Every time you snooze the alarm when you promised yourself you wouldn't, you teach yourself that your word doesn't matter. And if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? My brother learned this the hard way. He broke his own promises for years, and the moment he stopped, his confidence skyrocketed. Because discipline is confidence. When you know you can rely on yourself, when you know you will show up no matter what, you become unstoppable. No setback can shake you. No failure can break you. You don't need motivation because you have something better. An iron mind trained in battle, built through action. So the next time you feel unmotivated, remember this: it doesn't matter how you feel. What matters is what you do. From this moment forward, eliminate the excuses. Set rules for yourself and follow them. Build the habits that create an unbreakable mind. Because if you master discipline, you master life. 5. Your self-worth is not up for negotiation. There will come a day when someone questions your worth. A boss who overlooks you, a partner who no longer values you, a so-called friend who disrespects you. And in that moment, you will have two choices: accept their version of you or define yourself. Most men hesitate. They seek reassurance. They ask themselves, "Am I really enough?" They replay conversations, analyze every word, search for signs that they matter. And in doing so, they unknowingly hand over their power. The world is filled with people who will try to measure your value. They will judge you by your bank account, your status, your appearance. They will act as if your worth is conditional, as if it can be increased or diminished based on their approval. And if you believe that, you will spend your life chasing validation. You will bend to expectations. You will work yourself into the ground, trying to be worthy in the eyes of others, only to realize that no amount of success, no amount of wealth, no amount of external recognition will ever be enough for those who don't truly see you. Marcus Aurelius ruled over an empire, yet he did not seek the approval of others. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the truth that most men fail to understand. Strength does not come from external validation. It comes from knowing who you are, regardless of who sees it. Most people live their entire lives as beggars, begging for recognition, begging for acceptance, begging for someone to tell them they are good enough. But a man who understands his worth does not beg. He does not negotiate. He does not lower his value just to be liked. Because the moment you let others define you, you become dependent. You shrink yourself to fit their expectations. You trade your authenticity for their approval. You change how you speak, how you walk, how you present yourself, hoping that if you can be just a little more likable, a little more successful, a little more accommodating, then maybe, just maybe, they will finally recognize your worth. But they won't, because people do not respect those who chase their approval. They respect those who stand firm in who they are. The Stoics understood that true power lies in self-respect. You do not need to shout about your worth. You do not need to convince anyone of your value. You simply live in a way that makes it undeniable. A man who knows his worth does not tolerate disrespect. He does not entertain people who diminish him. He does not stay in situations that drain him. He does not explain himself to those who are committed to misunderstanding him. He walks away, not because he is arrogant, but because he refuses to stay where he is not valued. If someone does not see your worth, that is their loss, not yours. If someone takes you for granted, that is their blindness, not your failure. If someone doubts you, let them. Your value is not up for negotiation. And here's what's ironic. When you stop chasing approval, people respect you more. When you stop seeking validation, you become more attractive. When you refuse to be undervalued, the right people take notice. Because confidence is magnetic. And confidence is not built by external praise. It is built by the way you treat yourself. Every time you accept less than you deserve, you weaken your foundation. Every time you stay silent when you should speak up, you tell yourself that your voice does not matter. Every time you let someone walk over you, you reinforce the lie that you are not enough. But the moment you stop, everything changes. When you start setting standards, not just for how others treat you, but for how you treat yourself, you begin to see the truth. You are not defined by their opinion. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You do not lower yourself to be accepted. You stand firm. You move with certainty. You carry yourself with quiet strength. And that is when the world takes notice. Because a man who knows his worth is untouchable. He does not need permission to be who he is. He does not seek permission to take up space. He does not ask for validation because he validates himself. And that is a power that no one, not a boss, not a partner, not a stranger on the internet, can ever take away from you. So stop waiting, stop negotiating, stop asking if you are enough. You already are. Walk like it, speak like it, live like it. Because once you do, you will never allow anyone to make you question your worth again. 6. No one owes you anything. A colleague of mine worked relentlessly. He stayed late, took on extra projects, and sacrificed weekends, all in the hope of securing a well-deserved promotion. He thought his effort would be recognized. He thought his dedication guaranteed him a reward. But when the time came, someone else was chosen. Someone who played politics better. Someone who smiled at the right people, who knew how to navigate the system. He was furious. He felt betrayed. He thought, this isn't fair. I did everything right? And then something clicked. He realized that fairness is an illusion. That the world doesn't hand out rewards based on effort alone. That no one owes you anything. Most people go through life believing they are entitled to success, to recognition, to happiness. They think if they work hard, they will be rewarded. If they are kind, they will be loved. If they struggle enough, someone will come to rescue them. But that's not how reality works. The world does not operate on fairness. It operates on results. You are not owed a promotion just because you put in the hours. You are not owed love just because you care about someone. You are not owed respect just because you exist. If you want it, earn it. If you want more, take it. If you think you deserve better, create it. This isn't negativity. This isn't cynicism. This is power. Because the moment you stop waiting for the world to recognize you, you become unstoppable. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he never saw himself as entitled to anything. He wrote, "The world is nothing but change. Our life is only perception." In other words, the way you see the world determines your experience of it. If you believe you are owed something, you will suffer disappointment. But if you accept that nothing is guaranteed, you will move with strength. Look around. The most successful people did not wait for permission. They did not wait for the world to hand them an opportunity. They created it. They adapted. They moved forward even when things weren't fair. And that is what you must do. Because here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is sitting around thinking about how to make your life easier. No one is going to hand you success just because you believe you've earned it. So what do? First, eliminate entitlement. The world does not owe you a single thing. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can start making real progress. The moment my colleague realized this, he stopped being bitter and started taking control. He built new skills. He learned how to network. He positioned himself in a way that forced people to recognize him. And eventually, he got what he wanted, not because it was given to him, but because he took it. Second, take full ownership of your life. The Stoics believed in radical responsibility. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." If you're struggling financially, if your relationships are failing, if your career isn't where you want it to be, take responsibility. Stop blaming the economy. Stop blaming your boss. Stop blaming your past. Look in the mirror and ask, what can I do about it? And then do it. Third, become self-reliant. The more you depend on external validation, the weaker you become. The more you rely on others to determine your worth, the more powerless you feel. Strength comes from knowing that whether people approve of you or not, whether they recognize your effort or not, whether they give you what you want or not, you keep moving forward. Fourth, build value, not expectations. If you want respect, become someone who commands it. If you want financial security, develop skills that make you indispensable. If you want people to appreciate you, be so valuable that they have no choice. Because the world may not be fair, but it respects results. And finally, accept reality, then dominate it. Life is not about waiting for things to go your way. It's about adjusting, strategizing, and making things happen despite the obstacles. The people who succeed are not the ones who complain about fairness. They are the ones who see the game for what it is and play to win. So let go of the illusion that life should be different. Stop waiting. Stop expecting. Stop believing that something is owed to you. Instead, step forward. Take control. Move with purpose. Because at the end of the day, the world doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you demand. 7. Silence is power. There's a kind of strength that doesn't need to announce itself, a presence that doesn't beg for attention, a confidence that doesn't seek validation. It is the power of silence. Most people speak to fill the void. They argue to prove a point. They react emotionally, throw in words like weapons, believing that the loudest voice wins. But the truth is, real power is never loud. It doesn't seek to impress. It simply exists. Years ago, I knew a man named David. He wasn't the most outspoken in a room. He didn't dominate conversations. He didn't interrupt to make his presence known. But when he spoke, people listened. Every word had weight. Every pause demanded attention. While others wasted energy trying to be heard, David controlled the room without effort. He understood something most men never learn. Restraint commands more respect than volume. One day at a high-stakes business meeting, an argument broke out. Everyone talked over each other, fighting to be the dominant voice. The tension escalated. Accusations flew. Then in the chaos, David sat back, arms crossed, completely silent. He watched, listened, and when the shouting finally died down, he spoke one sentence, just one. And in that moment, the entire room turned to him. His words cut through the noise like a blade. His silence had already won the battle before he even spoke. This is what most people don't realize. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best answer to anger is silence." Epictetus said, "If someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself against their accusations, but instead reply, 'You do not know the half of it.'" They understood that when you react emotionally, when you defend yourself desperately, you lose. Because the moment you fight for validation, you've already placed your power in someone else's hands. Silence forces others to reveal themselves. It creates space. It commands respect. When you remain calm while others lose control, you gain the advantage. When you don't rush to fill the gaps, you make others lean in. A man who is comfortable in silence is a man who owns himself. Most people cannot handle silence. They talk when they should observe. They explain when they should let actions speak. They react when they should remain still. But those who master silence understand that words are like currency. The more you spend, the less valuable they become. So how do you use this power? First, stop explaining yourself. Most explanations are just an attempt to gain approval. If you know your truth, if you stand by your decisions, you don't need to justify them. Let people misunderstand you. Let them assume. Let them wonder. Their opinions do not define you. Second, pause before reacting. When someone insults you, when someone tests you, when someone tries to provoke a reaction, wait. That space between stimulus and response is where power lies. It's where you decide whether you will be controlled or whether you will control yourself. Third, observe more than you speak. The ones who talk the most often know the least. The ones who listen carefully see everything. If you want influence, if you want power, if you want an advantage in life, learn to shut up and pay attention. Fourth, never let them see you emotional. When you get angry, you lose. When you get defensive, you lose. When you react out of frustration, you lose. Calmness is power. Stillness is strength. And the man who remains composed when everyone else is unraveling is the man who holds all the control. Because here's the truth. The strongest man in the room is not the one shouting the loudest. It's the one who doesn't need to. The most respected man is not the one who demands attention. It's the one whose presence is enough. And the most powerful man is not the one who fights every battle. It's the one who knows which battles are worth fighting at all. Silence is not passive. It is not avoidance. It is not surrender. It is a weapon. It is strategy. It is restraint. It is control. And once you master it, once you stop reacting, once you stop seeking validation, once you stop explaining yourself to people who do not matter, you become untouchable. 8. Turn obstacles into opportunities. Every challenge is a test. Every setback is a lesson. Every obstacle is a hidden opportunity. But only those who shift their perspective will ever see it. Most people view difficulties as barriers. They complain, they blame, they wish things were easier. But the reality is this: life will never be easy. And that's not a curse, it's a gift, because it is in struggle that you sharpen yourself. It is in adversity that you develop the kind of mental toughness that makes you unstoppable. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius faced war, betrayal, and plague during his reign. Yet he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Read that again. The obstacle is not in your way, it is the way. The thing you fear, the thing you resist, the thing that seems like it's breaking you, it is actually forging you. Most people run from hardship. They see failure and retreat. They experience rejection and give up. But the few, the strong, the ones who understand this philosophy, they lean into the struggle. They ask, how can this make me better? They look at the storm and say, good, more reason to grow. Because here's the truth. The world does not owe you comfort. It does not promise fairness. It will not adjust itself to make your path easier. The world simply is. It moves forward, with or without you. And those who succeed are not the ones who waited for life to be kind to them. They are the ones who embraced discomfort and used it as fuel. Your mind is either your greatest enemy or your greatest weapon. If you believe that every problem is a curse, you will suffer. You will resent the struggle. You will become bitter at life. But if you train yourself to see problems as opportunities, you will become untouchable. A lost job is not the end, it is a chance to build something better. Betrayal is not the destruction of trust, it is the removal of the unworthy. Failure is not proof of inadequacy, it is the sharpening of wisdom. Most people waste their time asking, why is this happening to me? But the question that truly matters is, how will I use this? There's power in that shift. The moment you make it, everything changes. You stop feeling like a victim. You stop waiting for circumstances to align. You stop hoping for life to get easier. Instead, you get stronger. You take responsibility. You take action. You decide that no matter what happens, you will adapt. You will endure. You will grow. Because no man becomes great without struggle. No warrior becomes strong without battle. No leader earns respect without hardship. The fire that burns others is the same fire that forges the unbreakable. The storm that breaks weak men is the same storm that builds the strong. This is not about pretending pain doesn't exist. It is not about ignoring difficulty. It is about using it. Pain is a forge. It melts away weakness. It reveals strength you never knew you had. But only if you choose to face it instead of running from it. The discomfort you feel today will become the resilience you need tomorrow. The failures you endure now will build the foundation for your future success. The rejection, the loss, the disappointment, each one is fuel. If you let it be. If you stop seeing hardship as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. You have a choice. You can resist reality, complain about circumstances, and wait for an easier life that will never come. Or you can embrace the challenge, own your struggles, and transform them into stepping stones toward greatness. The world will not soften for you. It will not bend to your wishes. But you can harden yourself. You can become the kind of person who sees every obstacle as a gift. The kind of person who refuses to let difficulty define them. The kind of person who, no matter what happens, keeps moving forward. So the next time life tests you, when you feel like the odds are against you, when things don't go as planned, when everything seems to be falling apart, remember this. The obstacle is the way. The challenge is your path. The hardship is your teacher. Do not complain. Do not resist. Do not wish for things to be easier. Wish to be stronger. Wish to be wiser. Wish to be the kind of man who sees every setback as fuel for his next victory. Because once you adopt this mindset, nothing, not failure, not loss, not even pain, can stop you. You will take every obstacle and you will turn it into an opportunity. Life will test you. It will challenge you, push you, and at times break you. But within every struggle lies a choice. You can allow circumstances to control you, or you can take control of yourself. You can surrender to the chaos, or you can rise above it. This is what the Stoics understood. Strength is not given, it is built. Every moment of adversity is an opportunity to sharpen your mind. Every setback is a lesson. Every hardship is a stepping stone toward mastery. If you embrace this philosophy, nothing can shake you. No failure can define you. No obstacle can stop you. because you will not be a victim of your emotions, your past, or your circumstances. You will be the master of them. So take what you've learned here and apply it. Train your mind daily. Control your reactions. Build resilience through discipline. Seek wisdom in every hardship. Because the man who can master himself is the man who can handle anything. Now, I want to hear from you. What is the greatest challenge you have faced, and how did it shape you? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience may be the lesson that someone else needs to hear. And remember, your mind is your strongest weapon. Sharpen it, protect it, and never ever let the world break it.